Warriors of price action and guardians of fundamentals. Welcome to Retail Recon. On today's Recon Reports episode, we're doing a full debrief on Visa. Visa was one of my trades where I ran a PMCC setup which we covered in the previous episode, and now you'll see how the setup worked in practice. Let's get to it. Visa first caught my interest because it was dragging below its 22-day EMA. For a stable, profitable large cap like Visa, I didn't see a fundamental reason for it to be crawling near 52-week lows. While the fundamentals don't make a trade, they do have an influence on how comfortable you feel putting money on the line. My thesis for this trade, Visa was being punished and would recover once the bleeding stopped. The plan was to wait for a bottom to form and then deploy a capital-efficient bullish structure. The risk here is, of course, you only know in retrospect when a bottom has been formed. Because I was bullish but didn't have a strict timeline, I chose a poor man's covered call PMCC structure, buying a long leap call as the engine to capture the upside and selling shorter dated calls to collect income while waiting. The upcoming earnings were a consideration, but they were not the trade's primary driver. The thesis was based on Visa slowly climbing higher over time. Since the primary engine of the setup was the long-dated leap call, I was comfortable holding through earnings as long as the thesis remained intact. The leap would have given me plenty of time to recover if the stock collapsed. I followed my trading rules on this one. Exit the leap at 20 to 30% of unrealized profit, or if it hit at 2% of account unrealized loss, whichever came first. With the plan set, it was time to engage. The engagement. From March 27 to April 2nd, Visa stopped making new lower lows. I interpreted that as a potential bottom and pulled the trigger. I bought a December 18th leap call strike 250 for $6,825. The leap was deep in the money with delta and intrinsic value well above 80%. As you remember from previous episode, this gives you a stock-like behavior on the option, but with far less tied up capital. For classic PMCC, you would probably go deeper, but this matched my time frame and conviction for the next 2 to 3 months. Immediately after buying the leap, I began selling short calls against it. Visa climbed, which made life hard for the short calls as I was forced to close most of them for a loss. On the other hand, that same move drove rapid gains in the leap. Then the earnings arrived. The market liked the report and Visa broke through the 150-day EMA and rallied roughly 10% the next day. I didn't have strong conviction the level will hold, and considering my profit target was reached and I had no fixed upside target in mind, it was time to exfil. The short calls were deep in the money and closed at a loss, but the leap had produced substantial gains. I closed the entire position on April 29th. Let's now move on to the outcome and analyze the numbers. On screen, you see the full breakdown of all my Visa trades. Total capital deployed in leap call purchase was $6,825. Excluding commissions, trading activity across both setups resulted in a net profit of $2,024. That works out to be a 29.65% return on deployed capital. If you follow my channel, you know my usual single trade target is roughly 3% on deployed capital, so this one substantially exceeded that benchmark. Another important stat, the holding period for nearly 30% return was under 30 days. I won't pretend trades like this are common, they're not, but sometimes they do happen when thesis, timing and execution align. And of course, luck always plays a role. Looking back, I don't think I would have done anything differently. I did consider leaving a short call naked for a couple of days and potentially close it at a lower price. But the reward wasn't worth the added gamma, high volatility and assignment risk in that environment. In my book, chasing extra yield wasn't merited in this situation. And with that, we wrap up this episode of Recon Reports. If you found value in this mission, be sure to lock in your support by liking, subscribing and following our movement. Thanks for standing watch with me today. And until next time, trade smart, risk sharp, stay on target.